I think, as I said, it's going in more negative context in every sphere of life. But Fridge still didn't win TV.
You should just start trash talking Russia.
There is no bad nations. There is bad people. Why you don't want to talk with me? Because of I'm Russian, and she said,
I would like to come back to Russia as soon as it possible. As I said,
why I move Russia? I'm free person. I'm free and do something what I want. I'm sure that all my friends are not safe to be in Russia right now.
It's way too early. I slept for 4 hours. What's up, guys? This is Igor in Russia. In this video, we're going to be discussing with an interesting person from Russia, a person whose videos I've been actually watching and enjoying a lot on YouTube. You guys know him as Art Ruslim, Artyom. And you guys, and also I know him as Art Ruslim, but we're going to find out more about his story. He has left Russia. We want to know why, and let's see what kind of a person is he and what's his life story. Like I said, I'm Igor in Russia, and I make videos about Russia with a Western perspective. And please subscribe to the channel and keep on watching. All right, Artyom, welcome to the episode.
Hello, Igor. I am very glad to be a part of your video and to make a nice dialogue with you, just for people from in our countries, to maybe make people more understand Russians and more understand Russia.
Yes, and that's exactly what I would like. Actually, that's the core idea of the video, not just to talk about a young man fleeing or leaving Russia. It's actually understanding the core on what's going on and what's going on in this case in your mind. And I know you as Art Ruslim, Artyom, a young guy from Russia. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 23 years old, and all my life I was living in Tomsk and Kazan. Last 5 years I live in Kazan, but I was born in Siberia. It's in Tomsk. It's a small city, approximately 600 people population.
You're also, by the way, I have Russian roots, and no secret about it, but I have roots also from Siberia. I'm quite a mixed. I have Russian, Finnish roots and born in Latvia, with Ukrainian areas from my other grandma's side, so it's real mixed. But you're a YouTuber, and tell us a little more about yourself from Siberia, Tomsk. How did you got into YouTubing? And
so last year, previous year 2021, I have started doing my channel on Russian language. I tried to film my first videos from Northern Baikal, Krasnoyarsk and Nizhny Novgorod. Actually, it was my first steps in making videos. But when Russia started the war, I have decided to make videos in English. I see what there are a few bloggers in English language who talk about Russia, who tell about Russia something. And I think this niche is so quite empty, because so there are a lot of English-speaking people around the world, and there are so few people who speak English about Russia and talk about Russia. And I think it's a nice way to start my videos, to do my own blog, to make people more understand Russia, Russians, and policy maybe too.
Yeah, and your videos are quite they're very, very, very realistic, and I'd say romantic. The style of it is like it's romanticizing in some ways the stuff you see, but I don't think you try to romanticize what you film. I think it's just it translates that you actually really also enjoy your hikes or your walks in the rural Russia, for example. I won't give you any more good feedback because it will get into your head.
That's something what I like really.
I film a little bit different stuff, but same thing. I get a lot of comments that the stuff is really interesting. I should get more videos. As I can relate to you in that ways, but I think the problem is right now. Let's put it this way: all of these YouTubers you spoke about, English-speaking YouTubers now, the bigger that became a lot more bigger, they are making the videos now, especially. Not for themselves, but 100% only for others, because most of them blew up because of this situation in Ukraine, and most of the
because of news.
Yeah, and they want to. Most of them want to see what they actually want to hear and see, and that's unfortunately mostly negative about Russia. So if you want to blow up, you should just start trash talking Russia, but you don't do that. Maybe let's get back to reality. You are not now in Russia. You are now where?
Now I'm in Georgia. Right now I'm in Kabuleti. It's a small town on the Black Sea coast of in Georgia. Yes.
And what made you leave Russia? Because you left recently, and it's like in November, maybe in December, and
I left Russia for 1.5 months around. I left not after 21st of September because I knew it will be very hard way to flee Russia right at this moment when a big crowd of Russians going through the border in Verkhnyi Lars or another borders between Kazakhstan and Russia. By way, it's maybe more appropriate way for me to flee from Russia, but I have decided to stay in Russia a little bit more for 1 month more and film another videos from Russia because of right now I don't know when I will be able to come back to Russia, and I try to stay with Russia right. How long is it possible? I try to stay in Russia, and also because of mostly my videos filming in rural Russia, and it's the end of the season when I'm able to film something, because when it's winter in Russia, I couldn't film something right now because of I don't have such quantity of money to pay for making another videos right in winter, because it's new clothes, more clothes I need to walk in somewhere interesting places in Russia, and more transport payments and etc. That's why I have decided to move maybe more in warmer country like is Georgia, and to film here more interesting videos.
But what's the reason you decided to leave? Is it in fear or mobilization, or what's the core reason to leave?
The first reason, I think it's mostly to make new content. To make new content from another country, because as I said before, here is warmer climate and I can make here more videos, and because of just more suitable conditions to film something right now. And the second reason is also mobilization and fear to be in Russia right now, because I'm not a student, I'm not a worker, I'm just a freelancer. I make videos just for some who, but I'm a person who can be drafted to Russian army, because I'm not defended from any sides. I'm not working in some special
Yeah,
manufacturer.
IT or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
am not
special
an
group, I think. Yeah.
Yes, I am not a IT specialist. I'm not a student. Just by the way, Russian government said that we will not draft students from universities. But for example, my friend in Kazan, he got the special
Mm-hmm.
document. Повестка, how it's named in Russian, but how is it named in English? I don't know.
Me
Special doc.
neither. Yeah.
A special document what you should go to.
Draft papers.
Uh, yeah, draft paper you should go to military service and to come through the special medicine commission, and maybe you will be drafted after it. And he also uh, how to
But
say,
was he taken
no,
into
he
the?
wasn't taken. Нет, он
No,
послал их, короче, ну, типа,
I know.
откосил.
What's that in concrete way?
Откосил, то есть он, ему документ, у него,
Managed to
вот
avoid?
yes, he avoided.
Okay.
But he avoided this case, and now he's studying in university. But I'm sure that all my friends are not safe to be in Russia right now. But we cannot to make all people in Russia to move abroad right now. I think it's surrealistic. We cannot do it.
All right. So, is there any dramatic situations in your journey to Georgia? How was it different from what we've seen in the when was it, in late August?
It was not so epic for me because I just bought the direct flight from Kazan to Istanbul, and then I had a flight from Istanbul to Batumi. There was no year or 1 month after the 23rd of September. It's less prices for tickets were so lower, and I let me to buy tickets to go by plane to Georgia.
How much was it?
It's not how much, 35,000 Russian rubles for all flight from Kazan to Istanbul and to Batumi. It's approximately
It's like 500 euros.
$600. Yeah, approximately.
Yeah. The prices were during that mobilization.
Prices were
over
mad.
1,000 or something, or more, much more, 10,000. I don't know, crazy prices.
Maybe millions, and half of millions Russian rubles, I guess. Sometimes was price for tickets. It's approximately $10,000 per flight from Russia to abroad. That's insane.
So, do you feel now much more safer now that you're in Georgia? And what are your plans from now on?
I feel here, of course, safe. I couldn't be drafted here at least, and my plans for the future, I'd want to film videos about Georgia, about Georgian people, about Georgian countryside, to visit the most remote corners of Georgia, to talk with people them, and to share with people around the world vibe of Georgia and Georgian countryside, and again remote corners of it. But for closest future, I would like to film some videos from Adjara and from Batumi, and I'd like to film some videos close to Kabuleti, because if I don't have enough money to travel around Georgia and travel so far. After Georgia, I would like to relocate to Kazakhstan, because Kazakhstan is more comprehended country for me as culture, because Kazakhs are Muslims too, as Tatars, and it's more understanding culture for me. as Tatar. That's why I would like to remove to Kazakhstan and to enjoy the vibe of steppes, because steppes is my lovely.
How do you feel being Russian in Georgia right now, or abroad in general? But let's put it concrete places. Georgia, since you're in Georgia, are you? Some people been talking about in videos about feeling maybe ashamed or just like very neutral, and how are the other Russians treating you, or is it like I know who you are and we don't talk type of thing, and you just pass by? So how do you feel being a Russian abroad?
I know why you ask me. I know why you ask me,
Because of the current situation,
so
of course,
right
in
here,
the world, and the
yes, because of current situation, and also because of some tensions between. I think I feel here very kind atmosphere in Kabaleti, because Kabaleti is so popular place for vacation of Russians for there, and I hope it will be in the future too. Here is a lot of people speaking Russian, and here is living so. Right now in winter, now is a low season here, and now here only older persons, and as I said in one of my videos, an older person in Georgia had more probability that they speak Russian, because of they were grown in USSR, they were grown in the same country as our parents and our grannies. That's why they so have a good attitude to Russian. To Russians, don't care what they don't think what Putin is equals Russians. They can to divide it, and but I still didn't visit Tbilisi. I don't know what I will meet there, or how people will react on me. But here in Batumi, I faced with some issue when I was trying to film some videos and talking with Georgians about Russia. I meet some not aggression, but no wishing to tell with me as Russian. It was a so young woman, and she didn't like to talk with me because of I asked her why you don't want to talk with me. I asked her it's because of I'm Russian, and she said.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing talked.
So we'll see if the situation changes in Tbilisi, since it's the capital, and maybe there's a lot more Russians, young men from Russia in Tbilisi, and I think that's the case. They are in the most popular cities right now. It's like Istanbul, Georgia, and other places. So what do you think about the situation in Russia in your view right now? What's life like in Russia, the place you left?
Life in Russia right now, so I think it's absolutely the same as it was, for example, in March and February of this year. In case of how people feel, so it's something like, of course, there is going some negative context in everyday life. What somewhere is going war somewhere in Ukraine going war. We're acting in this war, but in everyday life, how you're going to buy your foods in market, prices grew up, but not so. Not to this level, but you cannot to buy it anymore. And in case of work, I think there are a lot of workplaces in Russia right now because of employment rate is so normal, because when international companies go flee in Russia, our own industry is has so low Our industries are low developed. That's why they require more more handle work. That's
Okay, yeah,
how we
yeah,
say
I get it.
more. You should more do it by your own hands
Yeah.
instead of you doing by machine.
Hand job, so to speak. How life has changed then from, you said February, March is the same, but how is life different before, let's say 2021 or even earlier? Is there any differences? And by the way, I have noticed the same when coming to St. Petersburg. And this is what I've been also reporting, that life hasn't changed, and I get a lot of negativity because of that. But it's just the fact, it is what it is. If you just walk around, it feels like a surreal world, because all the rest of the world is Western world, especially speaking only about one thing. And that's very different in Russia as well. That's very interesting. But how has this life changed before this February 2022 and earlier life in Russia, or has it?
I think, as I said, it's going more negative context in every sphere of life, but it's context only in our mind. Our magazines, our shops, our food stores are still full by foods, and prices are didn't grow up so to insane level. And that's first of all you think about your food as your pyramid Maslow pyramid. Fridge still didn't win TV, because fridge in Russia is still full, and people cannot think about what we should do. Should we protest because our fridge is still full? Okay, maybe here is something tensions against our liberties, against our rules. But my fridge is still full. That's why I will wait something an hour. Maybe some who do it instead of us.
Do you think that's the limits? That's what could break the, so to speak, camel's back? When the fridge content of the fridge has changed to be less full or even empty.
I think Putin make more mistake before fridge win TV in Russia, because so I think longevity life of Putin as a president of Russia depend, unfortunately, as I said it much more before, depend on the fighting between Ukrainians and Russians.
Do you consider yourself then a patriot? Do you feel like that you love Russia, and how do you feel about your motherland now? It's a broad question. You can answer the way you want to.
I feel myself. Why we always should ask ourselves, am I patriot? Am I not patriot? Why I move Russia? I'm free person. I'm free man. What I can do something what I want in the world. I can move in our countries, and if I remove to in our country, so it doesn't mean what I still not a patriot anymore. It's a joke. It's propagandists used to argue with people and to argue with us just by TV. Because if I remove to Georgia, I don't stop to be a patriot of Russia, and I would like to come back to Russia as soon as it possible. As I said it a lot of times. Because Russia is a country where I lived all my life, and this is the first time ever I relocated to another country. This is the first time ever I am in our country, like in Georgia right now. All my life I lived in Russia, and I wanna live the next part of my life in Russia too, and to explore Russia as much as possible because Russia is so big, and I would like I think there is no I have a lack of my longevity of my life to explore the whole corners of Russia. That's why I would like to come back as soon as possible.
That's interesting. So you want to come back as soon as possible?
As soon as possible, as it will be safe to be for me there.
It's interesting what you said about patriotism, because I have to add, from my perspective, being Finnish Russian, Russian Finn, mostly Russian though, but lived all my life here. It's the same. You can imagine. You might be surprised, but especially in these Western countries with a lot of history with Russia, it's not as liberalistic views about this patriotism, like you said, which is, I think you said, quite healthy things. But for example, I get all the time, because my videos mostly basically are quite positive, because you can sense that I love St. Petersburg, Russian people, Russia, history, and that's a problem for people. I get attacked all the time saying you're not Finn. Well, I'm not Finn. I'm partially Finn. Plus, I live in Finland. But I get all the time attacked because of this. I always have to choose sides, and that's very interesting. It's quite sad.
I would like the world sometimes, in one time, world come cosmopolitic. It's not why we should always think about which is this nation, what is this nation. All people are people. It's a nice idiom in Russian language. We have there is no bad nations. There is bad people. That's why. I think it's a nice idiom which describe. I think what I want to say. There is no bad nations. Only there are bad some people.
All right, Artyom, I want to thank you for this interview. It's very interesting to hear your story, your opinions, your experiences. I'm gonna put Art Ruslim's, Artyom's YouTube page link in the description. You can also find it probably in the title. Let's see, and definitely you should check out his previous videos and the upcoming as well. I'm going to do so. You should too. Thanks a lot, Artyom.
Thank you, Igor, for this interview.
Hope to meet up with you in some point to make a collaboration video, some film in some location.
Always welcome to Georgia, or maybe in Finland.
Yeah. Finland
maybe
or
in Russia.
Russia. Yes. This was an interview with the Art Ruslim, Artyom, a guy from Russia, his story. Please subscribe to the channel, also to our Artyom's channel, and see you guys in the next episode when Igor Russia returns. Bye-bye.